What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Purple People Podcast. My name is Kyle Smith. I am joined this week by Adam Carlson. How are you,
I am
sir?
here. My internet seems to be better this week, so hopefully you guys won't have me just sitting here in silence and nodding with my camera not moving.
Okay, nice. Kyle West is a little under the weather, so he's not going to be here. I have to maintain my good behavior now that I'm being supervised by Adam here. I will do my best, sir. You know it goes off the rails when it's just he and I. But all jokes aside, happy to have you back, man. Training camp starts tomorrow for the Vikings. This is episode 524, What the Faulk. I am going to go on one of the not friendliest rants I've ever went on this podcast today about Marshall Faulk and some things he had to say about my quarterback. Okay, that's my quarterback. I don't appreciate these old boomers, Hall of Famers or not, with their terrible opinions on stuff that doesn't matter. And the tired, lazy, repetitive narrative about Kirk Cousins that everything's on his shoulders and blah, blah, blah. But we're gonna get into that later. I want to talk about training camp because it starts tomorrow. I watched Kevin O'Connell's press conference today, and he hit on a lot of things. And most notably, he mentioned that Danielle Hunter will be there tomorrow. That was a positive sign.
He did say that, and it's interesting because I don't think the Vikings are going to have anybody really not show up. I'm expecting a full house, which is great. I'm still not certain that Danielle Hunter is very happy with his situation, but I know that I don't know, but I assume that he believes that not showing up to camp is not going to help his situation at all, and I don't think it would.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to help his situation at all. And it's the same way for, like, I'll get into some NFL news here shortly. I'm going to shout everybody out. Charlotte's here. You and Jonathan, what's up? Faithful listeners always. My boy Justin from Purple and Gold for Days. You guys go check his channel out and give him some love there. Like and subscribe, all that fun stuff. Jonathan's here with Charlotte, like we mentioned. I love that you guys comment separately, by the way. I love that. We can all go back and forth. But back to Danielle Hunter. Yeah, it's the same situation as for all these running backs, man. And that's going to be my main topic of the show today is all the running back drama. My thoughts on it, get your thoughts, everybody else's. But, yeah, it's just I think he belongs here. I think that, things could have went better. I think you and I both agree on that. Contractually, he probably could have made more money. I'm not going to be that guy that's like, well, you signed it. You got to do it. Like, that business is hard, and sometimes people don't have your best interest in mind, or they don't achieve, and them being agents, they don't achieve the maximization of your value. Like, that's happened before. But I think that Minnesota loves him. I think the majority of the fan base sees the value. I know the team sees the value, and I'm excited because I want to see what he does. Brian Flores is by far and large my favorite acquisition, player or coach or whatever transaction of this offseason. So I know that he'll be used correctly because he's a great defensive mind. So I'm glad Danielle Hunter's there. The only injuries that Kevin O'Connell really talked about were two guys that a lot of you guys have never heard of. Me being one of them, I had to be reminded of these two players. And then they also mentioned Brian O'Neill, who is back on schedule, which is great. Don't know if he's going to start September 10th against the Bucs, but they said that's the plan. Kevin O'Connell did some great walking around language, talking about some of these injuries, saying, oh, we have a plan for him. I'm like, that's pretty vague. But all in all, it sounds like they're going to have a full house, like you said. And it sounds like starting camp, everyone is healthy, which is really good.
So you think the Vikings' most recent acquisition is just kind of like insurance or what?
Yeah, I saw it in the comments, and I agreed completely. It was just
Bob
camp
Evans?
body. Camp bodies. You got to have them. Why not? And I don't hate that. I mean, it happens every year.
I've never eaten at a Bob Evans. Have you?
Bob Evans. I know of them. I can see the sign. I don't think that I have. When I was in Minnesota a long time ago, I did eat at a family restaurant there, and I wish that I could remember the name of it, but it was pretty good from what I remember.
Because the memes were going through pretty strong after the Vikings, agreed to terms with him.
That's really funny. I didn't see those, and I didn't even know that was the player, but that's such a Minnesota thing. Bob Evans is something I would think of when I think of the Minnesota Vikings. And
so I know this isn't going to be a popular topic, and we don't touch on it for too long, but the details and some of the comments coming out about Dalvin Cook's current legal situation is putting some real pressure on him getting signed. he could very well be the last running back out of the big group that's signed. So, I mean, right now it's not looking good for him.
I know he's got to defend himself, and he did. I listen to Rich Eisen a lot. He's been my go-to to get away from Colin Cowherd and all the other older guys. I really think that Rich does a fair job on his opinions and reporting. So I've been leaning on him heavily the last month or so. He's had all the running backs on: Christian McCaffrey, Derrick Henry, Austin Eckler, Dalvin Cook, Saquon. And Dalvin said, and he asked him directly, he said, "Hey, is there anything in your legal personal life that's barring you from getting signed?" And he said, "No, absolutely not."
Yeah, you ask the player or his agent that, and they're definitely going to say that.
They're going to say that, and I understand it. I hope that that's true.
And we've heard his side, and we've seen her reported her side. So, I mean, it's a he said, she said thing at this point until whatever it is gets resolved. And I know that with running back position devalued the way it is, taking a chance on anybody that might be suspended or unavailable for that reason is just not a wonderful idea.
Yeah, and not to give away too many details, you guys can look it up, but the negative side from the girlfriend's part was, from what we read, she had stolen like a garage remote and snuck into his home. I mean, it's breaking and entering. The bad part for Dalvin was it seemed like there was some physical violence there, which is not a good track record for any running back in the NFL because it's happened so many times. But we don't know if that's true. What we do know, and this is, I have to do better about getting you guys the site that I read this from, but she was offered a significant amount of money from what I read online.
Right.
And she turned it down. Now, whether she knew he was going to part ways with the Vikings and that would make him desperate, it's all about leverage and how much you can get. I don't like that personally because
you see the interpretations. Like some people are like, well, she said no because she knows that she's right. And you see the other people like, no, she said no because she's holding out for more money.
Right.
And it's like, yeah, you can take so many sides to every story, but I don't think we'll ever know what really, really happened.
No, and I apologize that I'm eating, guys. I'm starving today. Shout out to Uncrustables. Love those. Yeah, I don't think we're ever going to know. This is a situation you want to bury and put behind you. Good, bad, or indifferent. And it's not a good look for Dalvin, but everything the kid's done off the field here, he's been wonderful. So I want to err on the side of caution to say I believe him for now. If there's ever facts to come out, we need to have those. But like you said, it's a lot of back and forth right now, and it's really hard to judge because we don't know the whole story. But for him, trying to get signed right now, it's not a good look.
No, it's definitely something that teams have to pay a little bit extra attention to.
I will say this, on Rich Eisen's show, he did say he thinks he's going to land in the AFC East. So leave that where it is. I don't think it's going to be Buffalo. He said he wants to watch his brother shine and do his own thing. So, yeah, he could be playing with Josh Allen, Tua Tagovailoa, or Aaron Rodgers. And he said that he still wants to be the bell cow, and I'm paraphrasing there. He wants to be the guy. So we'll see. I don't know where he's going to end up.
I don't see a lot of teams really needing him at this point, not even like I know New England's linked to him a lot, but New England doesn't really need him either.
New England's interesting to me because whether we want to admit it or not, I think Bill Belichick is 100% on the hot seat because he's had not good seasons since Tom Brady left. They don't draft particularly well, especially at certain positions like quarterback or receiver. So I don't know that he's going to be there much longer if they keep losing. But, I mean, traditionally, for a guy that you want to hand the ball 20 times to a game, Dalvin Cook fits perfectly there. The problem is they don't want to pay him. And that's
you see him that much better than Ramondre Stevens?
Versatility-wise, sure. But here's what I'll say about New England that we all know. They can do it with one short, speedy, fast guy, Darren Sproles type returner can add value there. They can have a huge, big dude like they used to have with LeGarrette Blount. They can have the in-betweener there, and they'll run all three of them however they please. That's kind of been the best part about New England not having to pay a lot of running backs, but having the diversity of they do each thing, differently but great.
I think you and I both might overvalue the running back position in New England because of their situation at quarterback currently.
That's a great way to put it, man. Well said.
I know Mac Jones is still young and he's got a lot that he can do to grow and develop, but as of right now, I'm not 100% sold on what he brings.
What I hate for Mac Jones, now that we can go back and forth on these subjects and just kind of spitball for a little bit, I hate that he had a year where, year 2 to 3 is the most promising, or hey, let's look, which I think he's going into his 3rd or 4th year now. That the last year where he had the defensive coordinator as his offensive coordinator, you cannot throw a wrench in a young quarterback's career like that. And he's not going to forget how to throw a football, to read defenses and all that. But it's just it'll make your brain scrambled eggs having to go from one way of thinking to another. And I feel bad for him because he was already under a lot of pressure being the successor to Tom Brady, but they didn't make it any easier for him doing that. So maybe Bill O'Brien will help him there. I don't know.
While we're still talking about running backs, Austin Eckler put together that Zoom meeting for all the running backs.
Yep.
And I read that there was some really conversations going on about them and their agents, but not so much about the teams that are trying to sign them. I don't understand how a lot of this is going to be trying to figure out what's going on with their situations, because we just saw Saquon Barkley get a nice guaranteed contract.
And you know what? I'm going to talk about Saquon to start, and then we'll go back to all these other guys. But Saquon Barkley was asking in the neighborhood of 15 to 16 million, if I had read that correctly. Correct me if I'm wrong, if you knew it, Adam, but I think it was around 15 to 16 million. And hey, listen, I don't care what running back it is. We say it on the show all the time. We have to break it down and think about this. Receivers can finesse. They can go on plays where they know they're going to have the running back get the ball, and they just have to grab a guy and push him backwards or hold in case the running back breaks out. Running backs are getting tackled and hit all over their body almost every time they get on the field. It sucks. Even if you're not carrying the ball, you got to block a defensive end. That's not a fun assignment. It is what it is. So I understand why they're asking for this money. The problem is, and I hate this, and I hate saying it this way because I'm not siding with the billionaire owners, but we can't dismiss the fact that $10 million is a shitload of money by any metric. I don't care if you're a billionaire. You can ask they don't get that way by turning down $10 million of any sort. They would say, whoa. Let's not lose out on money here, especially to the common man like yourself or me. If I got a chance to get $10 million at my job, I'm securing that as fast as I can. And I think we have these little phrases that we get used to. It's like, running backs are underpaid. They're not underpaid. They're just not getting paid what they want. $10 million is still a ton of money. Now, the argument that the running backs made in that Zoom call that you brought up was, well, I do more than the wide receiver number 3 on the team, but I'm not getting paid like him. They've got a good argument there. But then that's the back and forth of this, pendulum here is, okay, we're a passing league now. So
what are we supposed to do? Can you imagine that Giants offense without Saquon?
I can, and I wish that it would have happened because it would have exposed Daniel Jones, and then they would have overpaid so much for that guy. And like, hey, dude, Daniel, I'm sure you're a nice kid. I'm just butthurt that your team beat mine in the playoffs. But he stole – you want to talk about Kirk Cousins stealing money. That kid stole money from New York, and I still can't fathom it. I understand that you've got to have a guy or you don't. But I don't know, man. If I'm that coach, I'd be like, I'll try to see if I can get somebody better. I feel better about the mathematics there. But anyways, that's just me being a butthurt fan.
I have not seen what Justin Herbert got paid. So
I have it right here. I've had it here for 10 minutes because my brother sent it to me. Breaking news from Adam Schefter. We've got it up on the screen from Wes. Good job, but I'm going to read it out to you. The next quarterback domino falls. Chargers and Justin Herbert reached an agreement today on a landmark 5-year, $262.5 million extension. This ties him to the franchise through 2029. Deal gets done before Chargers' first day of training camp practice on Wednesday. So we don't know the guarantees on that, but let me just do some quick math here. 262.5 divided by 5 is $52.5 million a year. Now, we know that they can shuffle money in this spot, and this spot. This is where, when you find a quarterback that you absolutely love, this is where you're going to be paying these guys. Doesn't matter if they win playoff games. Doesn't matter if
they don't.
The teams are, kind of shitty around them, but they look great. This is the new market. Imagine this, Adam. Imagine this, everyone in the chat. 11 to 12 to 13 years ago, 2010, the highest paid quarterback was like $20 million. That's crazy. I like Justin Herbert. I love all the things he does on the field. I think he got a bad rap with a shitty offensive coordinator, and sometimes the defense is bad. And I'll give him one more excuse. Last year, he was throwing to like trash cans at wide receiver. 1 through 4 on the depth chart were all out. But here it comes now. You got to the playoffs last year. Your defense let you down really hard and let the Jags come back. Now you got to win.
The Chargers weren't scoring points either. Don't put it all on the defense.
That's fine. I'll accept that, and you're totally right. But now the pressure is on. It's great to have that money, but man, if he has the season that Kirk Cousins has had, what did he say, 5 years? He goes to the playoffs twice, wins one playoff game. LA is going to look back and be like, well, that didn't work. Or at least they should. I don't know. They like to praise him a lot more than they like to praise Kirk. So
the NFL, the business the way it is, though, it's amazing how like every year those salary cap numbers continue to increase and the revenue from the NFL and these advertising deals just keeps skyrocketing up and up and up. For how many people several years ago said, I'm never watching the NFL again? Oh my goodness, the NFL is the biggest business around.
That's so funny. That's that redneck conservative crowd that I have to deal with down here. I'm not going to name names, but somebody said that the other day. They're like, you should learn that new Jason Aldean song that just went #1. And I was like, no, I don't like shitty music. Thanks. It's just, I laugh when people say, I'm never watching the NFL again. Nobody cares, man. This isn't an airport. You don't have to announce.
I'm not buying Nike. I'm not buying Bud Light. I'm not buying none of this stuff.
Yeah, I don't care. It's fine.
Nike's doing just fine.
Under
Armour's doing just fine.
Going to kneecap the GM for a few years. Yeah, that's going to suck. He's going to have to bring up the talent around him, and it's going
to make him look like a genius.
Yeah, that's a good one. I don't know.
It's a big swing.
Yeah, it is. But this is what I was talking about with the Vikings, and it doesn't have to be Justin Herbert. They didn't have to go get him and steal him from LA. They are going to have to go into the draft, and I'm going to pound this on the table until they do it. You're going to have to give up 3 first-round picks. Go get the boy wonder, the next Andrew Luck in the draft. Go get him. And then if he does well and brings you to a conference championship on his rookie deal or a Super Bowl, you're going to have to pay him this money that Justin Herbert just got. You're going to have to. And I'm okay with that.
I feel so bad for whatever rookie quarterback has to take over for Kirk Cousins because Kirk is solid enough and he gets no respect. So when he comes in and he's not going to be as polished or ready as Kirk, he's going to make mistakes, and that rookie quarterback is going to get absolutely fried.
Yeah, Kirk's going to be one of those you don't know what you got till it's gone. 100%. We kind of already know that, and I know most of the people in the chat do, but there's a large portion of this fan base that's going to be like, all right, well, he wasn't that bad. I'm like, we know. We were telling you this. Kyle West has jokes today. I am not doing that song. Thank you very much for being the antagonist today.
How about you just do the dance to the song then?
The problem with that is I have an allergy to dancing, much like golf. My body doesn't agree with it, so I'm sorry in advance.
So what do you do at weddings when you bring a date? Do you just sit there and watch her dance?
I get enough liquid courage in me where I don't care, and then I look like an idiot, much like everyone else. But anyways, yeah, the running back market, I was trying to save this for later, but it just naturally came for the conversation, man. Do I feel bad for them? Yeah. I feel bad that they're not feeling like they're getting valued enough. The game has changed, and unfortunately, it's supply and demand. The supply is too heavy right now. You can get a lot of the same production for a lot less value, and there will always be a guy like Alexander Madison out there be like, fuck that, I'll just play for cheap. Sign me up. Oh, you're giving me 3 years? Oh, is it guaranteed? I'd love to stay here. Let's go.
These years, too, in the draft, I mean, you don't have that 3-4 running backs going in the first round anymore. That's not really a thing.
Well, it's because we don't – you're right, Adam. It's because we don't have bell cows anymore. The last one of a long time, in my opinion, is probably Derrick Henry. Maybe Nick Chubb is the last one because he came a little bit later. But I don't know. It sucks when you're that good and in Cleveland and the team is terrible, much like Joe Thomas. Is Nick Chubb going to be the new Joe Thomas? Is that what he's going to be? I don't know. I feel bad for them. I want them to get paid because let's be realistic here. the average career of an NFL player, now this goes for every position over all years and years of research, is 3 years. A lot of players last longer than that, but a lot more that, aren't first round picks and aren't as talented, they don't. But especially the running back position, they get beat up quick. And let's not pretend like they weren't getting overused or beat up in college. You've got to be that guy if you want to get high draft value in first or second round. You've got to be the dude in college who gets, 400 carries a season. You got to get 3,000 yards because you're playing all these teams that suck and just racking it up. So their bodies go through the ringer. And I put it on record. Hey, I feel bad for you guys, but I know there's only one answer to this, and it's they're going to have to understand. And I don't agree with it, but I think this is the solution. You're going to have to take a little bit less than what you're demanding, even though I hear you, the salary cap's rising. Well, look at the quarterback, blah, blah, blah. That's fine. Your position and your relevance to the game right now, I can get for cheap. So why would I not? You got to think of it from the general manager's point too. And I'm sure that was discussed in that meeting, but it's interesting, especially with this franchise, coming from guys like Chuck Foreman. You had Chester Taylor, who was great. And then a year later, you get Adrian Peterson for 8-9 years. You have all these running backs, Robert Smith. You got all these guys, years and years and years. And now it's just like, I don't know, in 3 years, we'll probably have somebody new. If 3 years, maybe 2 years.
My buddy over at the Viking Age, Adam Patrick, he made that graphic where on the left it had the average salary for a kicker, and on the right it was the average salary for a running back. And I've seen that graphic stolen and repurposed by so many people. It was even tweeted out by Des Bryant, and it caught a lot of attention that way. But, I mean, it is true. Kickers right now are moving into a more premium position while the running backs are getting devalued a little bit. And to be honest, I never really understood why kickers were devalued as much when they were so essential to not only initial field position as well as just in general putting points on the board.
Yeah. It's tough because games can be determined much greater, I believe. Now, don't quote me here. I don't know the science of it all. By a kicker missing a field goal, missing that extra point. How many times in the last 5 to 10 years have we seen the Vikings lose a game because an extra point was lost? I hate that for them, but for the physical toll that you have to take, I do believe they should get paid more. I haven't seen this graphic. That's awesome that it got so much fire that a guy like Des Bryant tweeted it out. But I feel like there's a little more context that needs to be there. Just because there's so many. You might have 1 or 2 kicker/punters on the team. You might have 7 running backs on your roster. That's going to significantly change the value and the average there when we do the math on it. But I mean, it sucks, man. I'll say it 100 times on this show. I feel empathy for them because I want them to get paid more for the abuse that they take. But unfortunately, when they start letting receivers do what they do and they start protecting quarterbacks as much as they are, this isn't 2001, folks. They're going to throw the ball forever, and receivers are going to have big games, and it's all about getting those ratings to go up, 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 up. And running the football is not going to bring the ratings up. So they're fighting a losing battle, but I do believe they can still get paid. What I think they should do is approach the CBA with a good common ground. Maybe they could change position by position, like how the draft goes for them, guarantees, blah, blah, blah. They did it for rookies. I just saw it the other day. Anthony Richardson, CJ Stroud, Bryce Young, all those guys signed their contracts. Forgot they're fully guaranteed now. So these guys, if they're terrible for 4 years, they're still going to make $30 million, which is insane. Good for them. Holy shit, I was in the wrong job. But they should approach it. The running back should approach it like that, in my opinion, and see what they can do to lift the value a little bit, or at least get their value guaranteed. Like I said it on the show, and Adam, I know you remember it. If they came to Dalvin Cook and said, we'll give you a 3-year deal, $6 million a year guaranteed, that's 18 guaranteed $1 million. He should run with that. No pun intended. It's guaranteed money, but you want to hold out to hope to get a long-term deal, or like maybe I'll get a 1 year for 12. Cool. How much of that is guaranteed? I'm going to pay you guaranteed money for 3 years. It's kind of what Alexander Madison did, but on a much cheaper level. So
the NFL is such a cyclical business, though. I mean, the positions other than the very prime premier positions, they seem to kind of rotate based on priority with certain outliers. I mean, right now, the offensive line isn't getting the love that it used to as far as a lot of money goes. I mean, look at Dallas. They decided to extend Trayvon Diggs instead of their star offensive lineman.
I think they'll regret that. I think the defense is great there. But it's the same thing, too, with that team, going back to running backs. I don't think Tony Pollard's the answer for those guys. I think him and Zeke need each other. And the one time that Tony Pollard did get to do the heavy lifting there, he got hurt. It might work in the running back's favor. I'm not mad at Tony Pollard for getting paid, but it's almost like the coaches and the GMs try to outsmart the game, and it's like they're giving you the answers. You know what I mean?
But I don't know Dallas' situation. Is their second running back going to be splitting carries and kind of giving him a little bit of rest here and there the way they were doing before, or what's the plan?
I felt like for the limited number of Dallas games that I watched, anytime Dak would struggle, and this would be most any quarterback, or if the game plan wasn't working through the air, you got two guys that can go out there and do different things to help you out. Now, did Tony Pollard outshine Zeke in the last few years? Sure. You approach Zeke and you say, hey, well, I want you to stay on the team. I'm not going to pay you as much because this dude's kind of beating you there, but we want you here. We're going to split it with you guys. We're going to split the carries. That I feel like that would be smarter. But, I mean, this is why I'm not a coach. This is why I can't manage people and men and lead them and teach them. I don't know how to coach. So I don't know how that would have worked. But I have a feeling this year they're going to see that they need one another. And Dallas's run game, unless you have the next dude, like the guy, I don't know. That's just me. I don't know. I don't know enough about Dallas, nor do I care. But back to camp. Talking about Vikings training camp, we watched Kevin O'Connell's presser today. Jordan Addison, recently, if you haven't heard the news, he was caught speeding very, very fast, like 2 a.m. through Minnesota. No, he was not drunk. No, he did not run any red lights, hit anyone. He didn't crash.
He was having puppy problems.
Yeah, he said it was related to his dog and he had an issue. And, you know, as a dog guy, I get it. I don't know if I actually believe that answer. I think it's a really good cover-up. I think he's probably trying to find some way to cover it up there, which is fine. Probably out there driving around too fast. I mean, he's on record, and I saw it on Twitter, and I was like, shit, we didn't see this coming. And it was right there in front of us. He's like, oh, I want to get paid. I want to drive a car. I got to have a fast whip. And it's like, oh, fuck. They're going to make a compilation out of this. Luckily, no one was injured, to include himself. What I loved was the response from Kevin O'Connell, and I'll paraphrase here, but he said, I want you to learn from it. He goes, we make mistakes. I wish that I could say every rookie is going to come in here and it'll be fine. They won't make mistakes. It's not going to happen. He has to understand this cannot happen again. And there was firmness there that I really appreciated. But somebody asked him, first 3 questions. Have you talked to Jordan Addison? Is he going to be here? He said he's going to be a full participant at camp. He's here. Him and Questy have talked to him multiple times, and it was just a mistake. I really hope that was it, and it was just kid being
a bad decision at the time is all you kind of got to hope it was.
Yeah. I'm gonna err on that side and give him the benefit of the doubt. We're rooting for you, Jordan. We want you here. We want to watch you succeed.
So, are you ready to number 2 in Minnesota, or are you not quite there yet?
You broke up just a little bit. I think what you asked was, are we ready to just give him the number 2 receiver position here? I'm not sure. Right now, I would trust KJ Osborne in that role. I've seen him make clutch plays in overtime, in big games. At this point, I think he probably gets more separation than Adam Thielen does. Adam Thielen was just contractually given that spot because of how much he was paid and his loyalty to Minnesota, and right back at him, he deserved it. We miss you, Adam Thielen. But no, right at this moment, unless he just they said this about Justin Jefferson. Hey, when did you know that he was the dude? It was like about 4 plays into camp. Like, oh shit, he's different. If he goes out there and does that, by all means, we're like, KJ, you better catch up. You better learn how to get faster. You better learn how to run routes better. Like, I don't know. I give KJ the edge, though. I think that's just a safe bet, and we'll see. Now, he was certainly drafted in that spot where you're like, dude, you're a first-round pick. You can't be a wide receiver 3. But do I expect him to be that way by week 1? No.
But we got to kind of look at it the same way with Lewis Cine. Although Cine's is different because it was an injury. I mean, Cine is coming in, and he's got to beat out Cameron Bynum if he wants to be a starter. And honestly, Bynum's played well enough that I don't think you can just pull that away and give it to Cine because he was an early pick.
Yeah, because of his injury, I think that throws it all, up. I don't know.
An early draft pick does not mean that you get inserted into the starting lineup. You still got to earn that spot. And I think that's the way the NFL is now. I don't think it was that way in the past, but
I think the opportunities are greater now, but I don't think unless you're a quarterback and you go number one, like it's kind of written in stone, you're probably going to start unless you're a successor somewhere. I think the opportunities are greater because, but let's not get it twisted. There's a dude on the team right now, Kyle West and I think you said, we don't know if he's going to be on the team this year. Number one pick right ahead of Justin Jefferson. Just because you get picked in the first round doesn't mean you are worth that pick. Teams make mistakes all the time. So I don't think that Jordan Addison was a mistake, but I'm with you. I think he'll get every chance to prove us wrong and beat KJ Osborne. But if I had to put my money on it going into week one, he'll be wide receiver 3 on the depth chart, and we'll go from there. I hope that he proves me wrong because the thought of him blossoming early makes me so happy. Because how do you defend the offense? How?
I was going to say this for the end of the show, but will you put Charlotte's comment up there? Okay, so Charlotte wants to know when the Survival League starts, and I recently renewed the league. So if you were in the Survival League last year and you check your email, you should have the link to rejoin in. Otherwise, I did share it with our group, and I was hoping that someone would throw it up on the Facebook.
Yeah,
I'll do that today. Did get tossed up there, but
I can do that. Now you'll have to walk me through it. I'll just copy the link you sent and then throw it up there for people.
But it is renewed and it is ready to roll, so it will be happening again. I always have fun with that.
I am certainly ready for this. I am not playing any fantasy football this year. I'm not drafting. I'm not setting a lineup. This is the only form of this I will do, and I am very proud of my team name. I had to search the internet far and wide to come up with that. I believe it was a title on this show at one point, but
the last few years have not been very good to you.
No, they haven't. They haven't, and I'll tell you guys, I'll give you the strategy. Use mine if you want. Go the opposite direction if you think that I'm terrible at it, but you want to save the teams that you know are going to kick ass most of the year, and there's only like 5 or 6 of them. You want to save those for later.
Oh yeah.
And I didn't do that. I didn't do it because week 1 is the most like crazy week. Week 1 and 2, anybody can win, like anyone. The people are still working out the kinks, especially with these like preseason games. I went with a pretty good team this go around, but going forward after that, the Kansas Cities, the Cincinnatis, the San Franciscos, like I'm saving those for like the middle. And I'm going to have to do some gambling early on, but I'm not doing any gambling big time until week 3. But I digress. I'm happy. My team name rules, and I am hoping that I will at least make it to the playoffs this year because I've been eliminated pretty fast because some teams let me down.
I don't know if we talked about this last week, but week 1 against the Buccaneers, the Vikings will be wearing their throwback uniforms, which is going to be kind of cool. I'm looking forward to that.
I'm not gonna blast it here because I'm not one of those like cool guy. Insert the guitar riff in there, like, oh, we got a cool guy on our hands. I talked to and am friends with one of the equipment guys for the Vikings, and this happened too, Adam. I have to bring you in with this story because you will relate, and if Kyle West was here, he would understand. But I asked him earlier in the year, I was like, hey, dude, can I ask a Vikings question? Because we just send the most horrible memes and reels back and forth on Instagram. It's filth. All of it's just trash. So I said, hey, let me jump in real quick. Let me ask you a Vikings question. He knows I'm a diehard fan. I said, what happened to the throwback uniforms, dude? Those are sick. I've been bitching about those on Twitter for 10 years. He goes, you might get your wish this year, maybe even week 1. And I was like, I should ask somebody I know for $1 million. What the hell? So that's all he gave me. I didn't press it anymore. I'm not that guy. It's a cool. And then that comes out. These are throwback uniforms. They're not exactly the same as the 2010, 2011 version. I wish that they were, but they have a good feel, and they do try to pay respect. I think they did a great job with it. I'd give it like an 8 out of 10. I'm probably going to buy one. I'm just torn between whose jersey I want to buy. So.
Yeah, if you're looking for the 90s style, you're not going to get that. But if you're looking for a 60s or 70s style, that's more up the line. But I was interested to see that in the shop that you could get not only the current players in that style, but they have a lot of the throwback players, classic players in those jerseys with those numbers. And if you're either a collector or someone that likes to try to meet up with people to get things signed, it's going to be great.
Yeah, I wanted to. It was between Hawkinson and Jefferson, obviously the two big superstars on the team. But I kind of want to get a Jared Allen jersey just because I don't have to pick a current player.
Yeah, that's a
And
pretty safe one.
I have a bunch of John Randalls. I have a Chris Carter, but that would be the surefire bet. I only pick Jefferson and Hawkinson because number one, they're very popular and they're going to score a lot of touchdowns. But I
I
don't
would
feel
wait
like
until either one of them gets their extension, though, probably.
that right there. I don't feel like they're going anywhere, but I want to make sure. So, but I'm to be honest, man, I like these. I like t-shirts way more. I don't like jerseys because I never have an excuse to wear them. I never wear them anywhere. I'm not going to wear them to dinner or something. So I don't have a really big need, but I am
Here's an
going to
opinion
Minnesota
to be
this
thrown
year.
out of the football fandom. As a fan, I love wearing hockey jerseys more than football jerseys.
Oh, they're awesome. Absolutely.
They're just so much more comfortable and so much more. I don't know what it is.
They
It's a
look
different
cooler.
feel.
They look cooler. I love when there are third party sites that do that for the Vikings. They'll have hockey style Vikings jerseys, and those are the ones that I eat up. I love those. It's a good call. That's the correct call, Adam. Oh, the story I was going to tell you earlier, man, and I was just laughing because I was watching a comedian and Julian Edelman. I don't know if you've ever watched Sam Morril from New York do stand up, but him and Julian Edelman have a podcast, and they said we are in search of what is the greatest game that was ever played. So they have all these athletes on. They had Shawn Michaels on. They had discussed the Iron Man match from WrestleMania 12 in 1996, and I thought about it the other day because and it's just funny. I remember being a young kid. Shawn Michaels had his back injury. He lost to Stone Cold at WrestleMania 14. I was devastated. And then I'm going through with my parents. We're at our grandparents' house in South Carolina. We go to the flea market. If you guys have ever been, it's a lot of fun. You get good deals there. And there's just a big table full of wrestling VHS tapes. And I'm like, I got $20. I got all the money in the world. I'm going to get like 5 of these. So he's like, yeah, I'll give you 5 for 20. So I pick all the ones that I haven't seen with Shawn Michaels. And he goes, oh, you're a big HBK fan, huh? And I was like, I love him so much. I wish that he still wrestled. He goes, you watch Raw every Monday? And I said, yep. And he goes, you should watch Raw this Monday. I might have been 10 or 11. I didn't have access to the internet. And I was like, what's happening? He goes, just watch Raw Monday. Don't be late. And that was the time when Shawn Michaels came back as the commissioner. He hadn't been on Raw in 2 years. And I was like, how does this guy know this? How did I just bring this up and this was about to happen? That's exactly how I felt about these throwbacks, man. I know that's a boring story for most of you, but we have a wrestling kind of friendship too in this chat. And
most of our regular listeners know that we're going to mention wrestling at some point.
Yeah, it was fun. It was good to watch Sean answer some questions too. Like I like those guys. I like not sport guys asking questions because they'll give you something cooler. Julian Edelman is a lot of fun too. He was on New Heights with Jason and Travis Kelce, and that was one of the best episodes I've ever seen. You guys should check that out. But Paul McPurstone, I love that. Enjoy podcast. I like to listen to this hair to clogged toilets, swirling my chest hair. I love that. Thank you so much for that, dude. Whatever you do to pump up our views. Thank you, Paul.
Honestly, I think I'd rather look at the toilet swirling the chest hair than my face on this cam.
Adam's always negative about himself. We gotta hype him up. I feel you, Kyle. I have a jersey I never wear. My t-shirt are always at the ready. Yeah, dude. I've got so many Viking shirts. My favorite to work out in was like this one that has a hood, but it's actually like a really thin workout material. I'd wear that every day if I could. It's so much comfortable. Thank you also, Andrew. I agree with you with the hockey jerseys. Paul is here to say all of the weird things, and I'm here for it. I don't know that I'm going to put everything up there, but I appreciate it.
Do we have to dress up like Hollywood from the movie Mannequin? Because if so, I'm in. Hollywood's the man.
How hard are they going to slap us? All right. I got to go to work soon. I can't be going in there with a black eye. They'll ask questions. All right. We're going to get into it. I'm going to, if I can clip this, I'm going to put it on my Twitter and I'm going to tag Marshall Faulk because there are some things, and I'm not doing this to hype up the podcast. I'm not doing this to get more views. I genuinely would sit down with him and ask. And if he schooled me, I would be, hey, cool, you got me. I don't have anything. I'll own it. I'll eat crow. I've done it on this podcast before. Marshall Faulk was on the Rich Eisen Show recently, and I really just want to speed through this as fast as I can because it'll take forever. But Hall of Fame running back, Super Bowl winner, best show on turf. Like, I get it, dude. You earned your spot. You are in the story of the NFL forever. You do have a significant piece, and you earned it. This does not dismiss somebody who played the game from saying something stupid and inaccurate. And I will say, Marshall Faulk's comments on Kirk Cousins that I'm going to mention here in a second were very dumb and very inaccurate. And I don't know why he said them this way, but he had Kirk's name in his mouth to fire off at the ready for some weird reason. But here's why it was stupid. And I got to let you guys, you got to go and look it up. It was a couple weeks ago it happened. Marshall is talking, and you can tell he doesn't have a lot prepared. He's kind of just speaking from the heart, which I appreciate. It's authentic. But he says, yeah, like the guy in Minnesota, they let Dalvin Cook walk. They let that guy walk, but they overpay that quarterback who's done what for him? He's disappointed him every year. And I just sat in my truck, and I was like, what the hell does Kirk Cousins have to do with the running back market? As if a quarterback is not going to take all of the money he can get. That's every player's job. But Kirk has zero to do with the market of anything. Like, he's going along with what he's given, much like the running backs are. So my first thing was, okay, Marshall, are you saying that Dalvin Cook is the reason the Minnesota Vikings won't win a Super Bowl now because he's not coming back? Not the 31st ranked defense they have? I need to know what you mean by that, because you're talking so much shit about Kirk, but you don't give any. And that's the other thing. I go on that quarterback wins are not a stat thing. There are 22 men on the field at all times. It is not on one person. If you think this is an individual thing, you need to go watch wrestling, swimming, golf, darts, billiards, something else. Those are individual sports. That's it. This is a team game. So blaming all that on Kirk really irritated me. But the best part of the whole interview, he goes, when's the last time that guy won the division? I don't know. Last year? Did you even watch the team that you were talking shit about? The answer is no, Marshall, you didn't. Rich Eisen was quick to jump in and be like, they won 13 games last year. Biggest comeback in NFL history, 8 fourth quarter comebacks. They won the division last year, Marshall. Rich Eisen goes on to say, which is hilarious, and I'm going to end my rant on this. He goes, well, look at Tom Brady. Look at the running backs he had in his career. Look at Peyton Manning. Now look at Patrick Mahomes. He doesn't have a bell cow. And he's like, whoa. Those guys are legitimate. Those are Hall of Famers. And I'm like, Marshall, that's called the draft. If you don't think that the Vikings want an Aaron Rodgers, a Patrick Mahomes, a Tom Brady, a Dan Marino, what do you think we're doing? Of course I want one of those guys. Drafting's hard, man. If you don't pay the quarterback, you have to gamble again, and you have to start the process over. They're going with a proven commodity. I don't know what his ideas were going into that show. I don't know the meaning behind what he said. But I was furious, not because I hate defending Kirk Cousins. I'm tired of talking about him 6 years into him being in Minnesota. But I don't like lazy takes. Dude, you are a Super Bowl winning Hall of Fame running back. This was some lazy shit. You didn't even know the Vikings won the division. Just be better and do a little more research. The common fan is outshining you in the knowledge department something in the NFL, and we shouldn't be doing that, Marshall. Be better. Be better.
We're seeing the exact same thing actually happen, because I do listen to a wrestling podcast here and there, and Kevin Nash has his own podcast, and he was recently talking about a superstar that's been having a lot of success and getting over with fans, but he said, where'd this guy come from, and why didn't he have success in other organizations when he was there? And it's like, dude, he was world champion in both those promotions.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to discount what Kevin Nash did for wrestling or anything like that, but it's like, if you're going to speak on something current, you should kind of know what you're talking about.
That's my biggest gripe about what I just said. I respect everything Marshall Faulk has done on the field, and if he schooled me sitting down one-on-one, I would admit it and say, look, I appreciate your time. I learned something today, whatever. But to come on a national program like that and not know that the Vikings had just won the division. I mean, he said it. When's the last time they won the division? I was like, come on, man. You got to be a little – it's sloppy. It's lazy. And I don't know why, but he had – you can tell, and I'm just assuming this, but he had Kirk Cousins on his mind ready to shit on him. And I don't appreciate that stuff, man. I'm like, if he was Blake Bortles, give him the business. But for a guy that's had how many straight 4,000-yard, 30-touchdown season or 25, whatever it is, to have – I think he had top 5 stats last year too in almost every single category. over the last like 5-6 years, he's had the highest completion percentage. I mean, dude's not bad. I don't know that after watching the Netflix series Quarterback, I think the only knock that I have on Kirk Cousins is he gets in his own head and he overthinks way more than he probably needs to. And I think that does have some damper on his success in big moments. But dude, he knows how to read a defense. He can throw the ball anywhere he likes. And he's a student of the game. He's not a bad quarterback. I don't understand this lazy narrative that people just attach themselves. It's a train. Everybody just attaches their car in the back. They're like, Kirk Cousins is overrated and overpaid. Where'd you hear that from? I don't know, but that guy said it. I'm going to say it too. I'm sick of talking about it, so I'll end it there. But
it is crazy how once a few people start talking about that and it starts getting retweeted places, it just gets parroted like crazy across everything.
It did. That's what happened.
And they aren't that person's original thoughts. They're just trying to say what they've heard, which is not cool.
It's just weird because it's only for him, because there are guys, and this went around like wildfire in my group chat from the last place I used to work. Josh Allen and Kirk Cousins have like close to the same stats, but Kirk has all the good ones. I understand that Josh Allen is a better quarterback than Kirk Cousins. I watch the football games. Do I think that they're worlds apart? No. I think Josh has a bigger arm, and I think he's way more athletic. He turns the ball over a little more, but he also runs the ball a lot more. So you've got to look at, okay, here, he hasn't been that successful in the playoffs. He's made one championship game, and he's been owned by the better teams. And now the pressure's starting to build. So it's like, okay, why does this guy get it? Your boy Justin Herbert. I know you can go off all day long and be like, that guy hasn't proven shit to me.
He hasn't.
He doesn't get he doesn't get nearly the derogatory comments that Kirk Cousins does.
No, he is very beloved.
I don't understand. I wish that I could understand more. And I think if people just broke it down and they had a real conversation instead of regurgitating something they heard.
These days, what I've been hearing a lot of that is kind of surprising to me is the current trend of, well, Jared Goff is better than Kirk Cousins. And, yeah, Jared Goff has these seasons, and he's done it a couple times now.
Oh, Adam's internet froze up. I'm going to wait for him to come back and tell him to repeat. Sorry about that, guys. Whenever Adam comes back in, I'll get that going. Adam was saying
that was not fun.
Yeah. I was trying to fill in while you're coming back.
Yeah, Jared Goff has some good games and good seasons, but as a whole over his career, I don't think you can really say anything like that. And I'm not confident going into this season and saying Jared Goff's going to outperform Kirk Cousins.
Well, that goes back to what is the storyline, Wes. And Mike, I agree with you. I hope that Cousins won over America with that. He's a down-home, wholesome dude. And I sent it to a bunch of my friends. Adam, I forgot to tag you in it the other day because I forgot sometimes that you use Instagram if I'm not sending you stuff about cats. Kirk Cousins is the whitest human in the world. His wife posted on her
I cannot
Instagram
wait for you to log
story.
into your TikTok and see like 500 TikToks from you.
Dude, Kirk Cousins' wife was on Instagram the other day, and they hired the band Switchfoot, the old Christian rock band. And I sent it to everyone that I could. I was like, this dude is whiter than mayonnaise. I can't. And it's so funny. He's so wholesome. I will never not like the guy. And you know what I'm glad I spent money on? Because some of my friends like to give me a lot of shit for being, number one, a Vikings fan, and two, being like a defender of Kirk. I've got a helmet right up there and a poster on the wall. Not even a poster. It's a canvas print with his autograph. I'm proud to have those, man. Family guy, good in the community, he's not a bad person at all. Why not? He's a likable dude. And you know what? If he ever wins a Super Bowl, that's fine. Most quarterbacks don't win a Super Bowl.
Some even great, legendary quarterbacks have never won a Super Bowl.
Yeah. Shit, man. Dan Marino is always going to live. I always remember that from Little Nicky. It's like, you did? I just want one Super Bowl. He's like, you did it for Namath. I'm like, yeah, Joe was coming here anyways. Adam, I'll shoot this to you first. I've got to pick between a couple of these. What is the one storyline you guys would be most interested in this NFL season? I have many, so I'm going to name off rapid fire a bunch. But what comes to mind for you?
Okay, so we're not talking about decisions that are being made this preseason or during training camp. So what I'm interested to watch is I kind of want to see if I can be proven wrong about the Chicago Bears. If Justin Fields can actually play quarterback now, they say that now that he's got weapons, he's got help on the O-line, that we're going to be able to see what he can do with his arm. And I want to see if that's a real thing.
He was so dramatically bad. And anyone but a Bears fan will tell you that. They think he's the next Cam Newton, which I find preposterous.
Because if Justin Fields comes out and he plays even average to a little bit above average, that Bears team could really surprise in the NFC North.
Yeah, they could. On paper, they're good. Chase Claypool already started on the pup, so right on schedule there. I love DJ Moore. I liked him with the Panthers. He's a great receiver, good dude. I don't know. I just don't believe in Justin Fields. And here's the thing, I'm going to defend him, but I'm not. He is very talented. He is athletic. He can play quarterback, but at what level is my question. His YouTube highlights are for teenagers and young 20-year-olds that are like, oh, this dude's dope. For the guys like you and me that have seen this come and go, every single play of every single game can't be this backyard football play. You're either going to get hurt doing that shit, or you're going to throw really bad picks, and then you're going to start to lose your confidence because your only game plan is not working. It's very one-dimensional for me, and if I'm any team, I say go lock the receivers up. We're not doing a bunch of blitzes. Let them beat us through the air and watch them fall apart. And that's based off of what I've seen so far. Could they have a renaissance? They could. I certainly hope not. I hope every team in the division goes 0-17. Fuck them. But that's just me. I don't know. For me, I don't worry about Justin Fields. I want to see if the Lions are for real. I want to see if Bryce Young is actually good or if he's just a middle schooler playing football. This is a good one. Does Aaron actually make the Jets great? I think he's going to make them wonderful. The
Jets are a decent team with probably the worst quarterback starting in the league last year. So, I mean, this team is going to be at least an above average team. And they're going to be fun to watch, which is.
I'll tell you why,
nice.
Andrew. Because Aaron has that chip on his shoulder, whether it's warranted or not. He has that kind of snobbiness to him that we all know about, that most of you guys probably hate. I've grown to love Aaron over the years because I get it. You just want to do you and speak your mind. I think he has all the right to do all that stuff. Whether you like him or not, that's fine. I think he has every right to be his individual self. He's got a chip on his shoulder, man. Garrett Wilson's damn good. I think Dalvin Cook should go there because they'd have a great running game. And they have the best cornerback in the league, not named Patrick Surtain in my book. Sauce Gardner is a monster. I wanted so bad for the Vikings to make a move for him. But they have one
of the best young running backs in the league if he's healthy coming back.
Breece Hall, yeah, he's going to be good too. That's why I didn't bring him up for the injury. I don't know when he's going to be ready, but I don't know, man. I like the oomph. I don't think that they're a Super Bowl team, but I think they could go in that Monday night and shock Buffalo. Shit, I wouldn't be surprised if they go like 4-2 and they squeak out and win that division. That would be some shit.
It would be hard for any team to be coming out and saying, okay, you're the favorites in the AFC. I mean, no offense to the NFC, but the NFC is so much more wide open than the AFC.
Oh, it's definitely through Philly and San Francisco. Yeah, it's super top heavy. Going back to your question, Wes, I want to know if Sean Payton fixes Russell Wilson in Denver. I want to know if Matthew Stafford and the Rams are actually going to be okay because once he got hurt last year, they were a literal trash can. I'd love to watch Anthony Richardson in Indianapolis. He's a freak, dude. He's Cam Newton 2.0 body type. I'm ready to see what he does. And I don't know. I think that's pretty much it around like the whole NFL. Those are the big ones that a lot of people talked about. But there's a lot of cool things. Like when the Vikings aren't playing, I will have interest to watch about a quarter of the league and see.
How about when you're watching Dak in the Super Bowl?
Oh, you play Madden too? Nice. That's cool. Those Cowboys fans are back again. Like, we them boys. I'm like, oh, they're back. Can't wait to see that fall apart.
I thought one of the funniest things, because every once in a while in the recommended posts on Facebook, there'll be something that pops up. One was like, Trayvon Diggs is already a Hall of Famer. I'm like, what?
Oh, don't do drugs, kids. They're very bad for you. Oh, he's great at intercepting the ball. At covering wide receivers, he is about as average as it gets. I don't know. I get it. Picks are good, but also pass breakups are nice. 3 and outs are really good from what I hear. I don't know. Yeah, I agree with you, Wes. Those are some really big storylines. The NFC North, as far as I'm concerned, is wide open outside of the Bears. If Jordan Love is just 50% of what his ceiling could be, the Packers could hum right in and get in there at 9-7. Like I wouldn't be surprised with that. I'll give you guys this. Since Kyle's not here, I'll do one of the bold things. I used to do bold statements a long time ago. I kind of got away from that, but I'll give you one. The team to watch out for this year. Rich Eisen said it. Colin Cowherd said it, and I fully agree with them. They have drafted so damn well over the last 2 years. And I kind of think that division's getting worse. I mean, everybody's getting old. People are getting hurt, like the Niners and Brock Purdy. I don't know that he's going to come back fully healthy. You don't want to rely on Sam Darnold or Trey Lance. The Rams, they're a dumpster fire as far as I'm concerned. I don't know how the hell they're going to get back the way they were. I think the Seattle Seahawks are for real, dude. They got – in one draft, they got both bookend tackles. They've got great running back. They've got a great corner. Bobby Wagner's coming back. Oh, yeah. Jamal Adams is coming back. They drafted Jackson Smith and Jigba to go with DK and Tyler Lockett. Like, that's a stacked freaking team. If they get it together and Geno plays good like that, they can win a playoff game or two, man. Like,
they have been drafting so well.
They've done really good drafting. And, like, I love that for Pete Carroll because his MO has been like, go somewhere, win, be terrible. Go somewhere, win, be terrible. Like, he's kind of having a renaissance of his own. So that's pretty cool. Good for him.
But another thing I'm going to be watching this year is I hate to, hate watch, but I am totally going to be watching to see how terrible the Cardinals are this year.
Oh, God, they're going to be the worst team in the league. They're going to get the first and second pick next year, for sure. Well, we can kind of book that now since DeAndre Hopkins left, and they don't have a lot of stars over there. I think Jones, the MMA fighter John Jones, it's his brother. What's his name? Oh, no, he's not there anymore. He went to, Las Vegas or something.
Yeah, he's gone.
So they don't have him. JJ Watt is retired. I don't know anybody on that team not named Kyler Murray. I have no idea. Yep, Mr. Peanut is still the Seahawks coach. They drafted so damn good, though. They've hit on, all of their first 3 rounds the last 2 years. It's wild.
Yeah, another thing I kind of want to watch, too, is the Commanders. I have no idea. Like, if you were to ask me what are your expectations for the Commanders this year, I'd be like, I have no idea.
I love Ron Rivera. I think he's a stand-up human. I think one of the best clips I've seen in the last year was him calling in one of his players to tell him he got selected to the Pro Bowl or whatever. It made me cry, man. It was so nice. And I have a lot of respect for him. My mother died of cancer, so anybody who has cancer that beat it, I'm rooting for you. They suck. They're real bad. He's got a losing record as a head coach there, and he's going into year 4, I think. It's going to be tough. I'm rooting for Sam Howell. You guys can never see it if you ever see that. I'm from North Carolina. I've got a Tar Heel tattoo right here on my arm. I love the Tar Heels. Win or lose, rain or shine. They're my team for college. The kid coming out of there next year is going to be way better than him. So I don't know. I don't think he's going to go to Washington, but that's my dream scenario right now. You're not going to get Caleb Williams. He's going to go 1 overall. They'll probably take a pass rusher or whatever in Arizona. But number 3, go call on somebody and go get Drake May. Go get him.
Well, we're talking about people we're rooting for. I mean, I know that it's not, one of the more popular things to say at this moment. It's funnier to make jokes and be that person on social media, but I want to see Tua succeed and be able to do what he can do because it's been scary for him. He's had to overcome quite a bit, and I know even just taking the field for him at the start of next season is going to be big.
You know what? To piggyback on your comment, Adam, if Tua stays healthy and he plays well, I'll remove the AFC West from being the best division in the league, and I'll give it to the AFC East. If the worst team in that division is the Patriots, who go 9-8, I mean, you got an argument there because the Jets are going to be better. Yeah. The Bills are the team to beat. If Tua stays healthy, like you said, I mean, they did pretty good without Tua last year. They made playoffs. And from what I remember, that divisional or that wild card weekend, that first half of the game with Buffalo, they gave them fits. So yeah, it could be good. I want to see Jerick McKinnon go nuts. Dude, that graphic of him sliding at the 1 yard line and giving up a touchdown just to make sure that they won against the Eagles this past year. Like, you hate to see it, but I love that Jerick McKinnon is an active Super Bowl champion. Not LaShawn McCoy. I don't have stats. I just sit on the bench and I collect rings. I hate that he does that shit. Going on and see, oh, this is 2-time Super Bowl winner. I'm like, so is the water boy on that team. You guys have the same stat line. Let's be real. Jerick McKinnon had actual stats in the game. He was an actual contributor. Got to play with a future Hall of Famer. Like, I'm so pumped for him. To come back from those knee injuries was something else because the odds were stacked against him. That's a really good point, Andrew.
But I think that's about all we have for this week.
That's exactly what I was going to say. We're going to plug away. I'm going to tell you guys up front before I plug Adam's stuff. Thank you, everyone that tuned in. Jonathan, Charlotte, Andrew, Wes, Paul. Who else did I miss down here? Mike. Thank you all. We've been going for a while, but like and subscribe to the channel, guys. We're not going to hit you up front with that. I know how that works for all these channels that copy the same formula, everything else. I personally hate it.
We're just going to assume that you know how these social media things work, and if you want to see us again, you know what to do.
Yep. I know that it's been dead, and I have to say it for all of you. I know it's been dead on our channel this summer because we haven't had a lot of news. This has been one of the quietest off seasons, knock on wood, for the Vikings in recent memory. But we're hitting training camp tomorrow. We will be back. Football season is upon us, and as it sits right now, we are 6 Sundays away from the season starting. So we'll get back into the rhythm of things, and we'll be doing our weekly show as we usually do. Give you training camp updates, roster acquisitions, and
speaking of training camp updates, let's talk about one more quick thing before I sign off.
Sure.
What did you think about Kirk Cousins talking about Harrison Smith's diet?
I didn't hear about this.
Apparently, Kirk Cousins says that Harrison Smith does, or at least used to enjoy, as a snack, just microwaving cheese on a plate and eating it. Okay.
As a kid who grew up poor as shit when I was younger, I'll tell you what my mom gave me a great idea for. And I don't know if it'll, like, we're old enough now, Adam. This shit will give me heartburn if I do it past a certain time. I hate just cheese. I hate that. It's really weird. But we used to take the Hormel, like, pepperonis and scatter them out and break the cheese up and put them on and make them crispy. And that was a snack.
Yeah.
But cheese by itself, Harrison, you're better than that. You're not going to have something more than that. That's crazy.
So, yeah, that was one of the fun things that I saw from the training camp interviews so far. Thought that was fun.
Oh, that's so funny. No, I didn't know that. Harrison Smith, man. I don't have anything negative to say about you. That is weird, though.
Did you see his most recent look with the dark hair and everything?
No.
He's looking sharp.
I can't wait. You guys don't know it, but I tried it about 2 or 3 years ago. We're going back, baby. I don't have a selfish brother who's going to get selfishly married and selfishly
For Halloween this year, please tell me you're going to dress up as Paul Allen.
Oh, dude. Damn it. I hate that I look like him now. My hair is so white. And he's loose. Like, I should do that. I'm growing my hair out. My goal is to go till next Christmas of 2024, but I have started, and I don't have anyone that's going to jump in and be like, I need you to be my best man. You've got to cut your hair. No, I'm not doing that.
No, well, when I was doing the keto stuff, you know, you could use to be able to just take a frying pan, throw some cheese on there, it turns into like a little cheese wisp.
Yeah.
And that's good, but just tossing melted cheese in a microwave, that's not.
I have questions, and they're not good. My first one is, what the hell?
Yeah, so that was a fun little nugget that we learned right there.
Hey,
I'm assuming
you know what?
that they're going to be talking about that.
Here's what I want. What am I most excited for? Here, Wes, put it up. We'll put it up one more time. Vikings, will you bring back 96 questions and make it good this year? Because last year it was very lame.
Yeah, ask some fun ones. Last year those questions were terrible.
They were awful. We all said it
terrible
here, and they were very cookie cutter and just bland. So yeah, get better questions for Brian Robinson when you bring him back in. Thanks for that. But
thanks again to everyone who commented and joined us. And of course, you can catch us anywhere podcasts are. And I don't know if you guys know this, but YouTube just recently released YouTube podcasts, so you can go and check that out. And we are a part of that. I did sign us up for that.
Shout out to Adam for signing us up for that.
So we are literally pretty much anywhere the podcasts are found. And if we're not getting beat by the Shipyard Cat or Ariana Grande football, we're doing all right over there on Podomatic.
That cat angers me. He raises my blood pressure.
But we'll be back, maybe not in 7 days for the week, but we try to come on here every once in a while, as close to a week as we can, to talk more about Vikings football. I'm sure we'll have more news with podcasts, or with for our podcast with the training camp going on and preseason creeping up, and I'm sure we're going to have some more roster adjustments being made, because at this time of the year, there's going to be so many signings. I know we missed talking about a couple signings, like I believe there was a long snapper signed, and a few other players that are probably just camp bodies at this point, which is, fine. I don't think any of them are actual competition.
Yeah, I think the long snapper was definitely one. I think the other was like a tight end. People were asking, like, what's the depth for the tight end room? And one guy with common sense was like, this is a camp body, relax. Whatever, it's cool. I'm putting these up here, but for our audio audience only, thevikingage.com, you can go and check out Adam Carlson's work there. If you interact with him on there, it's going to pump his numbers up. As long as you click on the article and you read through it, it's going to help his income. Please do that. You get some cool
Vikings. This morning I recently published an article about the 6 training camp battles to look at, and honestly, there's some interesting stuff on there, I thought, because I actually included a guy that I didn't actually realize was on the team, so
I'll look through that. I'm definitely going to help you out. I always remind myself when we do the show to go to the Viking Age and click on your article, so I'm going to look for that. If you want to follow Adam on Twitter or Instagram, he is at MN, like Minnesota, MN Viking Zombie. You can follow him.
Oh, yeah, that's everywhere, whether you're on TikTok or Instagram or whatever. I mean, even what's that new one?
Threads.
Yeah, I do have my Threads going on. And I also am still on X.
Yeah, we're going to keep rolling with X. Twitter is changing its name. I'm going to stay there. They're going to keep a lot of the same platforms. It's going to be weird to change it. I'm sure that's rebranding for whatever reason he wanted to do that, but we'll all be there. You can also follow Kyle West on those apps at Vaguely Square. Kyle's not with us today. He's feeling a little bit under the weather, but always going to support him if we can. Another great way, if you're watching, the link is here on the show, but if you're listening, https:// Kyle West 84, like Randy Moss, .picfair, PICFAIR.com. He's a great photographer. There's a lot of cool prints. He does a lot of great shots in his hometown around there. It's very rustic, and they have a very big throwback look there. But if you want to buy some Purple People podcast merch, you can find it there as well. Always got to shout him out and see if you can get him some extra dollars in his pocket. For myself, my name is Kyle Smith. You can follow me at NCDogDude on all the social media platforms. I play music. I've said this to all of our faithful listeners, but if it's the first time you're listening, I'll be moving to Richmond, Virginia in about a month. My final destination, I get to be with my son. So I'll be in the DMV area. If you guys are close by, I've already made some friends on X.
As a horror fan, hearing Final Destination is not great.
Yeah, I know. I knew as soon as I said it, I was like, oh, God, the log truck jumps in my brain. But, yeah, I've made some friends on Twitter or X, whatever we want to call it for now. They're in the area there, and I'm really excited. We're going to catch some games together. But all in all, back to where we were at. Thank you, guys. If you don't like and subscribe to the channel, please do that for us. Hit the notification bell to let you know when we're going to go live again. We'll be back next week at some point to do a little review of the first part of training camp. And football is around the corner. Let's go.
And in the meantime, stay classy.